Okay. Um, you know, especially as soon as especially now, I want to make sure I make videos of all the stupidities and rewirings and the altering things that almost make me appear like I'm losing my mind, because it is true. They are making me lose my mind because of how my brain is being rewired. And I want to put that in the faces of the perps who them think that the way my brain is being rewired, that them nears makes me almost sound like, or even to think this way makes you basically mentally handicapped or losing sanity. I want this trash that for them, this thought process that can be pushing that way, that definitely shows that mentally things are not stable. Them living in that realm of this makes sense to them. They need to eat reality, especially as they get ready to do what they're saying they're gonna do. They tell me they're gonna frame me. Yesterday or so, there was a video of like this trash trying to doing things to, I don't know. It seemed like they're setting up something, right? And you see cops and things like that, all the next door neighbors. But when I confront them, they're like, "Oh, no, nothing," right? But they want to do this foulness that you're gonna see in my other video. How trash it is. Listen. The level of foulness and the trashiness that they're in is something that's just to another level. But in the way they try to maintain this ecosystem of just, no, it's okay, that's daring. You're a hero. You're just daring. That's what you call daring. You're just the heroes that we need to be. Because what is happening is they're having children pretending to get raped, right? And they have parents participating in the frame of that nature, using their own children or letting their own children being utilized in these ways. And it's so disgusting to see. First of all, if you're a parent that will allow a child to be utilized in ways of that nature where, please, we're gonna have your child pretend that she's getting raped. We need her to do that because he needs to pay. It's so disgusting, right? And the people who take advantage of this trashiness are some of the foulest low life you can imagine. Disgusting trash, and the reality where they're in and how they try to redesign reality from what they're part of is so disturbing. Because the truth is this: as target individual, we are a test subject. I am a target individual. I'm a test subject. The government is using me as a test subject, as a human test subject, to develop technology that can alter your body, your mind, and is a whole program that consists of just degrading, demoralizing, distorting, disorienting the target individual for the purpose of the development of the technology. They're using women as test subjects, men as test subjects, and children. It is so disgusting. Children are being tortured and tormented. Some of the tortures are even sexual. They are being gassed. They are being radiated. They get seizures. They get cancers. It is nasty, right? But this trash have this ability to try to reconstruct the reality of what they're involved in and try to disorient me. They have no shame. Because they do these things where, as a target individual, they want to confuse the target individual to make you believe, as a target individual, this is anything but what it obviously is. This is anything but a massive government doing that to us. So they can make you think that, no, this is it's a group of this ritual, satanic ritual cult, or it's foreign government doing that to you, or this organization or this crime organization doing that to you. All bullshit. All things to just try to confuse you, because the truth is obviously governmental entities, of course, the Department of Defense is the top of that, and is founding that and is utilizing this defense technology that can alter the mind, that can destroy the body. They've been investing in that technology for decades. Also I'm at the office where there's grown women who's like, no, this is a technology attack, and she says that like, oh yeah, it's not the government that does this, right? Or it's a different government, but the people involved are different. They are not the type who would manipulate the brain in this fashion, even though it sounds like this is a common tactic utilized to break down target individual. They have no shame. To even say that And I've seen grown men and grown women in places of professionalism. Really, I'm like, you are they are human clowns. When there's this woman, I swear to God, I've never seen a person who can say the things that are the most idiotic, but also want to be taken serious, like this person. And listen, she's a competent professional, but she becomes like a child when she tries to gaslight you. It's like, no, it's a tech as in that technology. I was like, trash. Yes, of course I know it's not your technology. You're involved in a program where they utilize this technology, the defense technology, on human subjects to develop that. It's their technology. You just participate in this program, and there are these governmental entities doing that. You joined in, and you want me to be disoriented to think that this is something different from what they usually do. I should identify with this manipulation they have done to others. But I should not think that for me, because I'm in a different thing, they won't do the same pedophilia type of torture they usually do with using their tech. It's crazy. They have no shame. That's why I make this video, is because I want the reality to be in their faces, that they involved in a program that's torturing women, men, children, black women, white women, black children, white children, all races. And it's not these fantasized stories that you came up with so they can enjoy what they're participating in. The reality is this. I understand why perps participate. This technology and what it's capable of doing, and the enjoyment they get out of just being able to involve themselves in that, is something they really, really want to maintain. I can fully understand why they find so much enjoyment in that, and some of them love it, especially some more than others. In this program, you are manipulated and controlled in ways that you can even understand, and your body is completely being destroyed. They do things to your body, to your organs, and all of that, while in the comfort of wherever they want to be in. They, it's just facilitated evil, but evil where you can control human beings. A lot of these perps don't have a lot of control in their life, especially those who are the most fanatical about it. You notice, like, oh, you just like it. This is just an escape. You just want to escape into something else. Others are like, oh, you just want to create a facade, and you just love it more than everybody else, but you want to still present yourself as some kind of like sensible individual, and you're just a daring radical person, but in reality you're a coward, low-life trash involved in the program that's torturing even the infants in this program. And it's nothing daring, it's the cowardness of coward. Kids are dying in this program slowly, and today, in this present time, women are being tortured in sexual ways every day, and this is part of the common tactics. You're just an opportunist who wants to be involved in a program where technology of this level of advancement is implemented. So you just try to create a reality where when you do it, it's just like an avenging thing, trash. These people are so disgusting. I detest what they try to say, what they try to create as a facade. The killing, the torturing, and this is happening today. I'm not making this up like, oh, it used to happen like that. They used to die. Today, these women are dying. Today, these children are dying. Today, they're being tortured. Today, they're being... And I hear this piece of trash who involved in that program, well, they know, and some of them have participated in the torturing of women and children. It disturbs me. And so when they are here trying to energize this trash that they're going to pretend they're getting raped, they want them to think that, no, when we do it, we're just heroes. We avenging trash, us avenging. These trash deserve to be avenged on. For all the women and all the children are dying. And the way they manipulate the brain, like, no, we proved it. We proved that we're not doing the pedophilia type of torture that we usually do. They say things like that. With you, it's not what we usually do. And let me just let you know how they proved it. For me, when they do this nasty manipulation of my mind that is pedophilia centric, they try to tell me, no, what we're doing, we're making your brain be the brain of you when you were a child in 8th grade, 13, 14 years old. They have rewired, not even rewired, they just mining it, right? They use this weird verb just to just try to confuse you. And it's just your thoughts and your the way you used to be when you were a child in middle school, in 8th grade. And the reason why they do that is because when I was in middle school, when I was in 8th grade, between the age of 13, 14, right, when I just turned 14 or about to turn 14, I did this thing to myself, that it was an inappropriate act, but it was an appropriate act that not a child at that age can do. And it was an impulsive act that never happened again, right? But these perps who do the pedophilia type of torture will try to, are going to utilize whatever they can to convince you that even though we're used to do the pedophilia type of torture, for you, we're not doing that. Even though it's clear that we do these tactics that they degrade the brain in these pedophilia centric ways, with you, it's not the case. Because, first of all, it's our technology. Our technology don't do this pedophilia, and it's just childlike. But let me go back to what you're saying here. What I'm trying to illustrate here, and what I want to put that in their faces. Listen, what I show, you would think I'm mentally, it makes me like almost insane. But these clowns live in this insanity as if there is their reality. You see a hippo over there. There's a hippo, and I was watching this thing about animals, and a hippo, like they have this little fish that just like eats out of their skin, because like they got like a bunch of like little like insect and things like that attached to their body. So hippos, usually what they do, they go into this like spot in the lake, and they just stay there, and this fish go all around them and just like eat all the little thing they have on their skin. And the hippo is just there, just relaxing and just kind of enjoying the treatment, and they enjoy the sensation, just like a relaxing sensation. So what does he have to do with me? Okay, that's when you start seeing the way my brain is rewired and just the stupidity. What I did as a child, right, is something I did once, never happened again. But what they're trying to do is try to create like, no, but before that, this and that. They try to create patterns. When I was a kid, I remember just laying on my stomach, just watching TV, and there was like a younger kid, and she would go like under my shirt, my t-shirt, on my back, and just like play on my back and doing things to my back, and I was just there chilling while she was doing that, right? It was just like a relaxing feeling actually, and she would just do and play on my back, right? And I just watch TV, enjoying myself, not even enjoying myself, just enjoying watching TV. Now, what they try to do now is just try to be like, no, you felt sexual stimulation. I wasn't feeling sexual stimulation. It was more like relaxing. And mind you, this is me at the age of the kids that you see there. I'm just there watching TV, just really relaxed. They're just changing down the feelings to make me, because they have this ability also. This is why these people love these things. It's because memories can be manipulated, and they can reconstruct the reality of my memories. That's what they love, this technology. That's what they love, this program. Because they can create something else in my memories. And now, like, instead of me just relaxing there, they give me sexual stimulation, when it was just like a purely relaxing moment. Even when I say purely, they just try to, because purely has been used. I use purely when they do, so they purely manipulate me. It's like, oh, purely, huh? They are, and this is how, like, I'm telling you, when I speak about what they do to me, it sounds like I'm losing my mind, because that's the kind of stupidity I'm forced to think like. And these perps are really in the, like, they use this mental insanity as the reality they're in, as if it makes sense. So they're changing that to have like sexual stimulation. Now I remember when I was just watching TV, nothing. And I remember the kid was in just like playing on my back and whatever. I was just like, okay, I'm just watching TV. And I remember one day, once the mom came in, her mom came and saw it, came and just in the room. I was just there. She was on my back, and then the mom was like, what are you doing? And she's talking to the kids, like, and the kids just there, just like, and I'm just chilling. I'm just watching TV. Nothing there. But I think the mother called her or something. That at that moment, nothing inappropriate happened. There was nothing wrong. The only time I did something is just at one time to myself. It was an inappropriate act. I did something to myself, and they tried to exaggerate. Now, you see how old I was. I was at that age. What they do to me is they're making me have this sexual stimulation, sensations, and they say, no, we proved it because remember what you did when you were at that age. And because the thing that I did is only one time, they try to find, okay, but we're gonna play the kid play on the. You see, the mom looked at theirs, like, but I didn't do anything inappropriate. It was nothing sexual. It didn't do anything to me. I was just like, but they try to use that. And can you imagine how they can rewire that from me watching hippos to this? And they try to make me feel guilty. It's like, nah, you pay for what you did, pay. As they rewind my brain these pedophilia ways and manipulate me and just try to make me think, no, this proof, because remember when you in 8th grade this, and then try to come up with other things they just mix in there. They try to create other things that they even have create a whole thing with something with somebody. They create a whole thing with a kid called Sarah. They try to create this, and they've manipulated my memories with this to try to create a pattern of things. Because the truth is, something happened once as a child and never happened again. This inappropriate act was the only inappropriate act of that nature. And the rest is just try to kind of piece things together to paint the false narrative. Now, who I'm talking to are the same people involved in a program where they literally sexually torture children. So even when they just try to make me feel guilty for this inappropriate act, I'm talking to people involved in a program that torture and kills children. And then act like what they're doing is avenging for what I did as a child. And they're going to act this way because they're avenging. When the truth is, they're opportunist trash involved in a program that's out here torturing children sexually and doing horrible things to them, while trying to make me feel guilty about what I did as a freaking middle school at 13, 14 years old, try to exaggerate, falsify, and alter that. And on top of that, manipulate me today as an adult man, saying what you're experiencing is we just minded to you when you were in middle school. You felt like that. I was like, no, I didn't feel like that. You're changing that. And on top of that, why would a grown adult person start thinking like a child? Retard trash. These people are trying to make me acceptive of the manipulation they're known to be doing, while trying to present a facade of avenging protectors of children, while these trash are involved in a program that is torturing and killing children. They are low life, and they use a lot of teenage like child shit, where in their minds like, oh, it's not fair. It's like, yeah, it's fair. The people who is killing and torturing children are trying to make me identify with these pedophilia things that they do to people, to bringing up me as a kid, falsify memory, and utilizing childlike individuals where self-respect is very at the minimal, where this is everything for them, where they give them heroic status for pretending to get raped. It helps me understand this trash for what they are, and the stupidity and how they try to piece things together and try to make me feel guilty. I don't feel guilty, especially this when me I'm sitting on there's nothing inappropriate, anything I did. In that moment. Now it was did my mother see something? I was like, okay, but I'm just there watching TV. And like, no, but you see, the mother saw something, and there's like, that was not inappropriate on my part. I didn't do nothing, and even the child was just playing on the back. Why it was inappropriate was what I did to myself, and I never did it again. Now, I'm talking to adults, men and women involved in a program that's killing children and women. I'm talking to teenage trash groomed in a program that's killing. Some of them as young as 14 years old, already in a program that is torturing children, sexually torturing. They have no shame. There's kids right now involved in this program where they know their children are tortured. And they try to talk about this inappropriate act of a child that a child can never. I will never allow this purpose live this fantasy. You're trying to create a pattern. There was no pattern there. What I did happened once, and it could, if it was going to be a pattern, it was going to happen multiple times. These trash are trying to create a pattern because what they're doing today is they manipulate my brain in these ways. And the truth is, these are the same trash involved in a program that torture children. And today, to validate me that they're so fraudulent, they're pretending they're getting raped. This is who's involved in this, but now listen to the reality of what they're involved in and what they do to children. Let me prove to you how protective of children they are and what they're involved in. They're involved in a program where they're using children, even infants, as test subjects. And the trash torturing women and children have proved it. That I'm not being manipulated like they usually manipulate, but they're making my brain be the brain of me as a child. Delusional trash and falsify memories to create a little concoction of sensation that's sexual. Because they're so compromised that having children pretend they're getting raped is making them heroic. This trash involved in a program that's torturing children. Target individual, listen to the reality of what they're involved in. What you're gonna hear now is what they do to children and what this program has done to children and is doing to children today. And I will never let them live their fantasy. Trash involved in this, falsifying memories of childhood, try to paint together things together. It's like, no, but the mother saw something that was not inappropriate. But if that was not, if she didn't stop anything that was happening, that was inappropriate. I will not let this trash not being accountable for what they're really involved in and wanting me to be like, no, about what you did as a kid and try to falsify. No, because too many children are dying in this program, and I will never, 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 never allow this trash, as trashy as even having kids as young as 14 years old pretending getting raped by me, paint a fantasized reality. Never. Make me think of that child playing on my back, however you want. None of that was inappropriate. I did nothing inappropriate there. It was just like, I know what I did inappropriately, but even that, it's what a child is capable of doing. You're just so pathetic that you're looking for whatever you can to paint your fantasized reality while I'm just listening to what you guys do to children. Target Major, listen to the reality and what they do to children and who's out here proving it.
And I revert to
of a long history of abuse of the human resources. My name is Catherine Nestor, and I'm from Pennsylvania. This commission has spoken of a long history of abuse of the human research subject. Although no one mentioned MKUltra today, President Clinton recently apologized for this. My young child and I have been used as non-consensual test subjects. We have been subjected to COINTELPRO-like stalking, remote neural monitoring, and electromagnetic torture, resulting in psychological and physical damage. And I won't go into the details of that because I have 4 pages written in here that is very similar to Connie's testimony. Please do not wait 70 years to investigate this. I ask Dr. Amy Gutman to begin today.
I am currently a speech-language pathologist working in private practice with young children. I had a 7-year-old client who has autism, and she was the most significantly affected of all of my clients. I eventually had to tell this client to go to another clinic, and they used her to threaten the most torture in me as well as their most extreme forms of torture. For several months, she would cry and scream horribly during our therapy sessions despite having a great day at school. This was highly unusual behavior for her, as she usually behaved very well during her therapy sessions. I observed her gasping for air a few times in the same way that I do when I am being more severely suffocated. The suffocation had been in a mild state for a while up until this point. Many of their torture methods are cyclical in severity. Right after I saw this child being suffocated, then I began to experience very extreme suffocation all day, every day, for about 2 months straight, and that's also when they made it worse when I eat. And I also work with a 4-year-old little girl with Down syndrome, as well as her 5-year-old sister who also has Down syndrome. I observed both of these girls suddenly grabbing their genitals in pain and verbalizing, "ow." I observed this at least on 1 or 2 occasions for each of them during their separate sessions. During one session, I observed one of my 3-year-old clients suddenly grab his crotch and lean forward in his chair. And then he made a frightening grimace of severe
and have had a decent education. I live in El Dorado Hills, California, with my wife of 14 years, Lorna, and our 5 children. Nicole is 15, Patricia 14, Christopher 13, Dylan 9, and Avery 16 months old. Not only have I been going through this, but my entire family has suffered right by my side. We have all experienced the same type of harassment on different levels. We have all suffered the same symptoms while this harassment was going on. Some of our physical symptoms include severe tooth decay and vision loss, unexplained rashes and burns, severe headaches, mood swings, anxiety, thyroid problems, high blood pressure, heart problems, vision loss, and cancer. Two of my children were born premature, which I attribute to this. Our son Dylan, now age 9, was born very premature. He was born at 31 weeks. During her pregnancy with Dylan, we were being targeted more so than other times. At the delivery, there were weird men walking and waiting around the hospital. Right outside our delivery room window, there was a white cargo van parked with 2 suspicious men inside. They were there the entire labor, a delivery. Our son had to be transported to another hospital 45 minutes away. When arriving to the Toa hospital, those same men and van were present. Three of my children have severe rashes that have not been explained by several doctors. These rashes have been present for several years at a time. If interested, I will gladly furnish you with detailed photos of the rashes. Our infant daughter, at 3 weeks old, was diagnosed with Lerner syndrome. This was after a severe rash appeared on her body after a few days of torture. We were told by a couple doctors to take her home and love her and spend the rest of the time we have with her. They told us she would ultimately die from this syndrome. Thank God that Lerner syndrome was not what affected our daughter.
Even presidents get prosecuted if they commit crimes. But the reality is, my government has protected my abusers and even caused them to abuse me. And that since I was a child, when I was a child. And just like feeling like those ugly, helpless feelings, like I couldn't protect myself when I was 5, and like feeling like a lot hasn't changed since then, and some things have changed, you know, some things have changed, but just like those feelings of helplessness, of like not being able to really help myself. Hey, looking at myself in the camera is helping, but I'm having bad PTSD. Just that mostly means that, well, I guess it's not regular PTSD because the back of my neck is being vibrated on and it's making my hands numb, feet numb, and my whole body shake. And I revert to like some mentality of like a 4 or 5-year-old. I don't think it's PTSD, but I don't know what else to call it exactly. I just feel vibrations on my head, and my voice and my thoughts aren't like a person my age when this happens to me. But I just feel afraid. And I don't know what to do, and I wish this would stop happening to me, and I wish that I was allowed to have help and be okay, and I don't think anyone's really allowed to help me, or they get into trouble. And that was true when I was little too. I'm just not coping very good. I don't feel like everything is alright. I shouldn't have to go through the same things as I did when I was little. I sent the Department of Justice a cease and desist and told them that they're acting in coercion with the entities and people that child sex trafficked me. And then I wondered if I wanted to, if it was safe, or if I was having bad psychology to send it, like, because it made me feel like I was putting myself in more danger. But I just felt like I had to send it, and maybe I think there's someone good on the other side of the letter that would say, oh, this is bad, or I don't know. I'm afraid maybe that's not true, and it's just gonna get me killed. It's hard to tell the system that they do bad things, because it always wants to believe that it's good. It wants to believe that I'm shaking, that I'm bad and the system is good. And the system has raped me and done bad things to me so that it could say that I'm bad. And it's good. Like, if something really bad happens to me, it means more really bad things will have to happen so that the system can say it's my fault. Because the system has to be good and believe that it's good. And so that means I have to be bad if it does something bad to me. Disabled. Pray for me, please.
Hey, I just woke up after a pretty rough night. The same thing happened last night. Which was whenever I was trying to go to sleep, the private parts of my body began being burned again, and it felt like someone pushing out something inside of my body. So yeah, that's what I am up against today. But the abuse last night was pretty extreme. And weird. Mouth feels just like my teeth are like pressed forward, and I don't know. It's a lot of strange things. I've been doing some research, I guess what it's called, organized stalking. I'm called a targeted individual. But the abuse last night was pretty extreme. I can feel it's going to be the same again today. Already on the harming of the private parts of my body. Don't really know what to do. I tried to go to a doctor to get some kind of pain medicine, because what actually happens to me, what is happening to me is my actual physical body is being burned. And so it causes me to go into shock, and it's excruciatingly painful. And I have my limitations on the duration and length of pain that I can handle. So it was a couple of weeks ago, I asked him what he was doing there, and he said that I needed to stay in my room. And I asked why, and he said that essentially they wanted to keep an eye on me for a while. And I was like, okay, for how long? And he was like, well, we haven't decided that yet. And I was like, all right, well, I'm leaving. But it definitely felt like if I talk about what's happening to me, that I'm being retaliated against. And I know the logical mind is like, well, everyone can't be involved. But it seems that, I don't know, if the government has the right to watch and the proper paperwork, just walk right in and take over a hospital. And it seems that that is a very real reality in a lot of capacities of the things that I've faced. So today, just kind of just feeling some pretty general fear about my own safety, because the government's burning the private parts of my body.
Of a long history of abuse of the human My name is Catherine Nestor, and I'm from Pennsylvania. This commission has spoken of a long history of abuse of the human research subject. Although no one mentioned MKUltra today, President Clinton recently apologized for this. My young child and I have been used as non-consensual test subjects. We have been subjected to COINTELPRO-like stalking, remote neural monitoring, and electromagnetic torture, resulting in psychological and physical damage. And I won't go into the details of that, because I have 4 pages written in here that is very similar to Connie's testimony. Please do not wait 70 years to investigate this. I ask Dr. Amy Gutman to begin today.
I am currently a speech-language pathologist working in private practice with young children. I had a 7-year-old client who has autism, and she was the most significantly affected of all of my clients. I eventually had to tell this client to go to another clinic, and they used her to threaten the most torture in me, as well as their most extreme forms of torture. For several months, she would cry and scream horribly during our therapy sessions, despite having a great day at school. This was highly unusual behavior for her, as she usually behaved very well during her therapy sessions. I observed her gasping for air a few times in the same way that I do when I am being more severely suffocated. The suffocation had been in a mild state for a while up until this point. Many of their torture methods are cyclical in severity. Right after I saw this child being suffocated, Then I began to experience very extreme suffocation all day, every day, for about 2 months straight, and that's also when they made it worse when I eat. Then I also work with a 4-year-old little girl with Down syndrome, as well as her 5-year-old sister who also has Down syndrome. I observed both of these girls suddenly grabbing their genitals in pain and verbalizing, "ow." I observed this at least on 1 or 2 occasions for each of them during their separate sessions. During one session, I observed one of my 3-year-old clients suddenly grab his crotch and lean forward in his chair. And then he made a frightening grimace of severe
and have had a decent education. I live in El Dorado Hills, California, with my wife of 14 years, Lorna, and our 5 children. Nicole is 15, Patricia 14, Christopher 13, Dylan 9, and Avery 16 months old. Not only have I been going through this, but my entire family has suffered right by my side. We have all experienced the same type of harassment on different levels. We have all suffered the same symptoms while this harassment was going on. Some of our physical symptoms include severe tooth decay and vision loss, unexplained rashes and burns, severe headaches, mood swings, anxiety, thyroid problems, high blood pressure, heart problems, vision loss, and cancer. Two of my children were born premature, which I attribute to this. Our son Dylan, now age 9, was born very premature. He was born at 31 weeks. During her pregnancy with Dylan, we were being targeted more so than other times. At the delivery, there were weird men walking and waiting around the hospital. Right outside our delivery room window, there was a white cargo van parked with 2 suspicious men inside. They were there the entire labor, a delivery. Our son had to be transported to another hospital 45 minutes away. When arriving to the Toa hospital, those same men and van were present. Three of my children have severe rashes that have not been explained by several doctors. These rashes have been present for several years at a time. If interested, I will gladly furnish you with detailed photos of the rashes. Our infant daughter, at 3 weeks old, was diagnosed with Lerner syndrome. This was after a severe rash appeared on her body after a few days of torture. We were told by a couple doctors to take her home and love her and spend the rest of the time we have with her. They told us she would ultimately die from this syndrome. Thank God that Lerner syndrome was not what affected our daughter.